Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Corner. We are in the camper today, if you hadn't noticed. If you do follow along on Instagram or some of the different YouTube videos we've put out there, we do travel a lot in our camper. We go, across country to just different sites to see. There's a lot of cool stuff to see out there, and we want to be able to see it. We like pulling the camper with us. We have a 30-foot travel trailer made by Jayco, and we pull it with a 3/4 ton Super Duty. We love traveling with it. Well, if you had seen one of our Instagram videos before, on some of our trips, we were in, I guess it'd be somewhere in central Kentucky. We actually lost our TV antenna. We don't know exactly when or how. There was no damage on top. I think it just came undone and apparently hit the interstate somewhere, and hopefully there was no cars back there. I don't know. We got there and realized the TV didn't work, and then we on headed back, we realized that the antenna was gone altogether. So we covered the hole to keep any moisture out, anything like that, until we could get home and figure out what we were doing. Well, we got that figured out, and today we're going to be installing the Wineguard Air 360. This antenna is a 360-degree antenna, so there is no turning and angling and getting the right direction, getting that antenna pointed the right way. This does it all for you, so that's really cool. We don't have to mess with any of that anymore. But this will do your actually do HD and 4K TV. It will do a radio antenna. It will do 4G LTE signal booster, and it will also do Wi-Fi. To be able to do the Wi-Fi and the 4G LTE booster, you do have to purchase the separate modem, which once you get the modem, then you can get a package to where you get so much data a month, that kind of thing. We have not done the extra modem yet. I'm not 100% sure if we're going to, because you don't get a lot of data with the packages, but it is cool because you can hook it up with AT&T, Verizon, and Winegard themselves. Do have programs that you can get on, and it's a monthly to get your data plan. The data packages don't look real large. We do stream a lot of Hulu, YouTube, obviously, and some of the different things like that. So I just don't know if any of those packages would be enough for what we're looking for. Our cell phones do pretty good. We've got smart TVs in here, so we can do about anything we want. So I think we're probably going to stick with that for right now, but maybe in the future we'll do something. Definitely, I'm intrigued with the signal booster, because it does work as a Wi-Fi booster for RV parks. Like if you stay at a KOA or something like that, you can boost their Wi-Fi signal, and you can also boost your 4G LTE on your cell phones with this if you buy the modem. So the additional modem is about $300. Like I said, we'll see next year what we're going to do. It's about the end of the season now anyway, so we'll see what happens next year. But it's about $300 for the modem. The Wineguard Air 360, the antenna itself, it's pretty cheap. Really, we're about $130, $140. So when we went looking, the Batwing, like what used to be on there, I was not impressed. It never worked well. You always had to aim it, and then the next day you had to aim it again because nothing would come in. There is none of that. So the price is pretty comparable. We had to replace it with something no matter what. So we decided to do an upgrade, and it gives us options later on. So installation looks pretty easy. It does come with the directions, that kind of thing. There weren't any great videos on YouTube out there as far as putting it in, because I looked myself. I wanted to see if there was anything, and I couldn't find anything great. So I wanted to do this, and maybe if you're looking into getting this, you can see how easy it is. I'm not a camper repair person by any means, but I'm usually fairly mechanical. It's a couple wires, couple screws. I think we'll be all right. We got lucky. Our wire is still there. When it ripped off, it just ripped out the antenna itself. So there's no pulling new coax or anything like that for us. There will have to be a new wire pulled if we decide to put the modem in, because you have to have direct 12 volt up there to the modem, which that's something we'll deal with later. It does come with pretty much all of your hardware and accessories. It comes with a new switch to go in the wall. Ours is fine, so I'm going to leave it, and we'll just have an extra for later if we ever need it. It comes with all the cables, screws. The one thing it does not come with is butyl tape. Which is a putty tape that will seal from any kind of moisture or anything like that. It is pretty cool with this one. The old hole, all the old screw holes and everything, I'm going to go ahead and seal them. But it says if this is sealed down, this will cover everything, and then you don't have to worry about it. Me, I like to be a little extra careful, especially when it comes to a camper roof. So I'm going to go ahead and seal everything, and then seal this like you're supposed to and put it down. But you will have to buy some butyl tape. It's fairly inexpensive. I looked on Amazon. Actually, the hardware store here in town had it. and it was like half the price of Amazon. Normally I'm a big Amazon believer, but this time Amazon lost. They're about double the price. So butyl tape, you will have to pick that up before you do it. Go get it before you take everything off the roof. That way you don't take everything off and then you got everything open, and then you realize you don't have the sealant to put it down, and then all of a sudden it's a couple of days and your camper's left open because you definitely don't want any moisture in your roof, right? So that's pretty much it as far as the overview for the Wineguard Air 360. Looks like a pretty good setup. We'll see what it actually does. So let's see if we can put her together. Okay, so we have to remove the old part. I've already screwed it from inside where the turn dial is. And you can see, we don't actually have the bat wing antenna before, like I said. We lost that somewhere in Kentucky, so I just put a piece of tape over the hole just to make sure we kept all the water out until we could get home and get that fixed. So very carefully, just going to take a putty knife and start breaking away that sealant they got on there, but you want to be super careful that you don't rip that roof. And because we'll have to get all this off here, get all that removed, get this out of here, and get it all cleaned off. That way we can set the new one on there. But the new dome is a bigger circle, so it'll pretty much cover everything. So I'm going to get to work on that. Okay, so I've got as much of the old stuff off as I could get. I didn't want to get too crazy with it because that rubber roof is under there, and I didn't want to take any chances of cutting it or tearing it or anything like that. So I just took it down to where it's a little bit smoother than what it wasn't humped up so much on that old sealant. Because the good thing about this new one, this is actually drops down. I don't know if you can see that inside. So all that's actually going to sit underneath this dome, and we will be sealed on this outside ring. So we shouldn't be able to get anything in there. I went ahead and puttied up the old holes where the old bat wing was down. So all we got to do now, this thing, I did take this, the hood itself will come off here. I took it off just to see what's inside. There's not really much you can need to see in there, but it's got your 3 wires that come out. Those are for your modem and everything like that. I'm just going to slip these down through the hole. That way, if we do add it later from the inside, I can get back to them and pull them down and get them hooked up. But then your coax cable comes out for your TV. And then this is my coax cable from inside, obviously. I'm going to hook those together. Go ahead and get it all connected before I put my butyl tape ring around there to seal it. But that's all you got to do is hook up your wires on the outside. That's about it. So we'll get some tape on there and see. So I've got my wires connected. I've got my butyl tape all the way around to make a good seal. Whenever you put this down, you want to make sure everything's good and clean. Like here, we've got a big pine tree back there, so I got pine needles everywhere. But I'm going to wipe this all down, make sure it's clean, and then feed my wires through, flip it over, and set it down there. And then it does come with a bag full of screws to set it in there. Whenever you do that, I am probably going to put these in by hand because I don't want to take any chance of stripping them, because you got to think every time you put a screw in the in there to screw it down, if you do something wrong, well, that's another hole in your roof, and you want as few as possible. So like I said, I'm going to clean this all up, run those screws in by hand, and get her secured on there. Alright, so I've got her screwed down, butyl tape on there and everything. Now, one thing that I did realize after I went to set mine down there, this does, on the front, says front, and on the back it says rear down there. So I'm not really sure 100% sure what the difference is. I couldn't find anything in the book, but I did point the front towards the front of the camper, so I would recommend doing the same. But that's about it. We'll get it cleaned up downstairs and see how it does. Okay, so I've got everything on the roof sealed down and screwed down. Now, these are those wires that I said you got to run through in case you do hook up the modem. I am just going to stuff them back up through the hole there because we're not putting the modem in just yet. But Wineguard gives you this little cover to cover this hole, so you can screw that on there, pull the wires up, screw that on there and cover the hole. The downside with ours, because we used to have this on there, there's still going to be 3 screw holes that I would have to figure out how to fill and make them look nice and pretty and all that. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and put this turn dial back up there. That way from the inside, the camper will look normal. It doesn't really do anything. But that way I don't have these weird little holes that I got to fill in and patch and make them look decent again. So I just thought I'd add that in there. Okay, so after you get her on there, Like I said, we left the one on here that was already here because it still worked. There's a little button on there to turn the power on. Make sure you turn the power on first. A little light comes on, and then do your normal channel scan. I've got the other TV going. It's found several already. So scan for your channels just like you normally would. All right, so after the channel scan, the bedroom TV, actually it found 9 channels right off the bat, which in our area, we're pretty rural out here, and where the house sits, there's a lot of trees around, so there's a lot of interference, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. So 9 channels for us right here is actually awesome. I'll probably do an update of some sorts, probably on Instagram or a quick video, something like that. Once we actually get the camper to a campground, I think here in 2 weeks, we've got reservations somewhere, so we'll try it out then and see how it works there. But all in all, overview of the Wineguard Air 360, pretty easy install, not bad at all. So it's pretty easy to do. I think anybody could do it. It looks like it's going to be a great upgrade because, like I said, we found 9 channels and there was no directional turning, nothing like that. I mean, I just turned it on, scanned for channels, and that's what it found. So it did great. Like I said, super easy. Anybody can do it. So far, I would say well worth the money. Again, you can add on the extra modem to be able to get the 4G LTE, signal boost, and the Wi-Fi, and the service package, and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, it does also do an FM radio antenna. Our camper already has one. We get stations from all over the place, about anywhere we go. So I wasn't worried about that. I didn't even hook it up. The original antenna did just fine. So it does have that option if you do have a camper, maybe that doesn't have that, or maybe this is a full upgrade, on a smaller camper, something like that. It's a great option, and for the price, you can't beat it. And with the add-on option for later on, it's pretty cool. So all in all, I'd give it 2 thumbs up. So happy camping.